Hi everyone, this is Diane Gould Hall again. And I don't think before, I think even in the first video I didn't even mention my name, but just in case you want a face to go with the voice you're hearing in these videos, then that's a picture of me at Roots Tech in 2020, and I was that happy. So that's enough of that. Let's get started. We left off before in the third session, I had added a little bit of historical information here in the ancestor story, and it was only a couple lines. I've since embellished the story, and it reads, May E. Thorpe was the second of 10 children born to Horace H. Thorpe and Sr. and Catherine C. Dorsey. She was born 4 April 1862 in Oswego, New York. Her family moved to Detroit, Michigan when she was very young. At age 19, she married William Vivaldo Gould on the 12 October 1881 in Jackson, Illinois. They had 6 children, 3 sons and 3 daughters. Her husband William worked in a paint store, and only 4 of their children married, and there was only one grandchild, a boy. May doted on him. He was my dad, and he loved her very much. He talked, I'll expand on that in a second. In 1924, May became a widow when William died from peritonitis. May lived until 3 November 1946. She and William are buried at Mount Olivet Cemetery in Detroit. So what I want to point out by reading that to you is that this tells May's story. And if someone were coming along later, no matter when, 10 years from now, 30 years from now, they could find this exact person, because I've given enough information about her date of birth, where she was born, when she married, who she married, number of children she had, etc., etc., and when she died. So you just want to, we can't tell the whole story. As genealogists, we want to put every single detail, but we can't do that on a scrapbook page. So my goal is always to keep it relatively simple, but give enough detail that someone could find the right person and know about her. So now today what I want to work on is moving the items here around a little bit, altering the size, and adding some embellishments and finishing up this page. If we can do that today, that would be great. So let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is go up to this picture up here in the corner. I think that's a little bit too big for my liking, so I'm going to move that down in size and move it over there. And then I would like to take this picture of May with her sons there and kind of put it in the center. And then I'll take this census record of her and her family and move it over here. As far as this text, now we can change the size of this, and we can make it smaller if we want. We could change the shape if we wanted, but we want to tell her story. So wherever you place it, just make sure you're happy with it. I want to make this view fit on screen. I want to see the whole thing. So I'm not so happy with that arrangement right there. But since I've spoken to you, I've added a few things in the photo bin. So let's take those and put them up here. And let's see if these will be more to our liking as far as in placements and getting this as a finished page. Let me go down here. Let me put this up here. While I'm looking at this, I wanted to show you something else. So I've got this picture right here. Let me move it up so it's okay. I've got to use the check mark. If things don't move around the way you want them to, make sure you use that green check. This picture right here, you could actually use that as a background. So I would diminish the opacity, and you could have it in the background. So now I'm going to move it back down. And you see, that might be a nice background for this whole page, just having that family picture with May. If we do that, then we'd want to take this picture and we'd want to move it off to the side so that you could see this picture of, that's actually May, my dad, her grandson, May's husband, William, and some other folks in there, my grandpa and grandma, etc. So that's another option you have, is to use opacity to diminish the brightness of the photos. And that really can make a difference in the look of things. The other thing I did was I brought in a headstone for May, and I also brought in her death notice. And many times, okay, now I just put that up on the page, but you can't see it at all, can you? Nowhere on there. So go down over here to your layers and look, it's down here at the bottom. So let's bring it up a little bit. Oh, there it is. Now we'll just move that down here. This picture right here seems to be getting in my way a lot. In fact, let's see, we've got duplicate pictures here. So I'm going to delete this color version of that picture. So now there's that picture. And now let's go to the cemetery, the headstone, and put this right here. And generally, for some reason, I like to tilt those. I'm going to stay away from the edges. You want to stay a 1/4 inch in on each edge in case you want to print your pages. So if I go over here to the ruler and I drag this over to a 1/4 inch, you can see where that line is. I could drag another one over here, a 1/4 inch from that end, and I could drag down to the bottom a 1/4 inch here and drag here to a 1/4 inch. That tells me those little grid lines there, and you can make them any color you want. You can go in and adjust them. That tells me to stay away from that 1/4 inch edge over there so that things print properly. So now with this death notice, I would want that behind the headstone. So let's drop that down here. Let's move it over here. Put that right there. But I do want it on top of this picture right here. So we're going to have to move this up, and then we're going to have to move the headstone up. So see how over in layers you can just work with your items and move them around over and under and get everything squared away. So now let's go to the story here. Move this down so you can see the picture better. And let's see if I put anything else in here when I was playing around the other day. No, I think that's it for now. So now I'm going to show you how to put embellishments. I'm going to make this picture bigger. I'm looking at it and I don't like it that small. So I'm going to make it, whoa. Okay, let's undo. Oh, let's just hit the red and that just takes you back to where you were. I'm going to make that a little bigger. Okay. Now let's bring in some embellishments. I'm going to go down to my Explorer here, bring it into this screen, and go up to my scrapbooking. I've got everything all organized in here, and I'm going to bring in some embellishments. So let's go to embellishments and see what we have. What would be in keeping with the time period that May was alive? From 1862 to 1940. So I might want to bring in, whether it's like a gramophone. Oops, not everything. Go back down here to the photo bin. You can only bring things in if your photo bin is open, so remember that. If you try to drag something from Explorer into your program and it doesn't go, it's because your photo bin probably isn't open. So let's bring in this gramophone and it's going to pop up on your screen. Just go ahead and go back to your canvas over here where everything is. Now let's go back to embellishments and see what else we might want to bring in. Try not to spend too much time on this. I have to tell you, while I'm pretty fussy, so I will change things around so many times, put embellishments in, take them out, change the background color. I'm going to go over that in just a second, because maybe I don't like the background color I've got in there right now. And you can just change it if you want. So let's just arbitrarily pick something so I can move along here, because I'm taking too much of your time. What else do I want to bring in? See, this is what happens when you have a lot of stuff that I've collected over the months. As everything goes on sale, I just go in and buy kits. I should be done for quite a while now with the kits. So, goodness sakes. This is what happens. This is what happens when you're fussy, is you can't decide on what to pick. So I'm going to just pick this clock right here and put that in there. Okay, so now let's go back to our canvas. Since we're recording live here, I have to tell you, my husband came in the room and I had to put my hands up so he didn't start talking while I was recording this. But, you know, that's just real life, right? And my dog's sitting right back here behind me. We have a little Bernedoodle. Anyway, back to this. Okay, let's go to the elements. I brought in just a couple here. Let's drag up. All right, it's not working. Hold on. Sometimes if things don't work, just go ahead and click on your selector there. And try it again. There you go. Now it's there. And as you can see, that's a little bigger than you'd want. So let's just put that right here. Click the check. Go back down. Let's bring in the little clock or watch or whatever it is. And put that here. This isn't going to be it's not going to end up looking like a page that I would spend so much time that you wouldn't want to sit here and listen to me. So I'm just trying to give you examples of what to do, and then you can just go off on your own and take care of everything. So I want this gramophone to be above, I want it to show above this. So I'm going to go up here and drag it here. Now it's above that. And I'm going to tilt it just a little. I tend to like things tilted. Now the other thing too that makes things look pretty cool is, again, to go and add styles like the shading. I learned a tip from somebody yesterday that said if you right click, you can go to, well, she told me it was here. Let's see. Okay, I'm not seeing it. So I am going to go to styles, the way I know how to do it, and put a shadow. I'm going to undo the shadow, and I'm going to redo the shadow. To me, the shadow looks better because it makes it a little bit 3D. So I like putting shadows around items. So then I'm going to go back to layers, and I'm actually going to go to this photo, and I'm going to go down to styles, and I'm going to put a little bit of a shadow around that. So, and you can bring in frames and everything else, because you can buy frames. So now maybe this is covering up a word or two there, so I'm going to make that a little bit smaller. So that's how you put embellishments in here, and you can put them anywhere you want. Now we talked about changing the paper. Talked about if I don't like the paper. So how would I do that? Well, I would go to my selections, go down to my backgrounds, and pick a different paper to put in there that maybe I would like better, or just to make it look different. So what I've done also in my paper selections is I have actually separated out the greens and the blues and the grays and things like that. So because I use these colors a lot, and then it's easier to just go in and pick another one. And again, see, I just get hung up in the fact that, let's try something gray or black and see how that looks. Oh, let's try this one. Okay, now if I go back over here, so what if I don't like that green background? You can always, you just leave it there. Then you go get another background and you drag this other background in. And stretch it out. And you see where it's located. It's above some of the images we want. So I'm going to drag it. Oh, first I'm going to click OK. Then I'm going to drag that down here. And now it's beneath everything. Do we like that better? I don't know. You know, that's an option. That's up to each person. That's up to you. It's up to me. It's up to each person. Maybe we want to have that above the green and change the opacity on it. Let's go up here and say, what if we did that? How does that look? Kind of muddy in my opinion, so I don't really like that. So I don't think I want to do that. But that's how you would change the background paper. And then you can just go over here to your layers and you can delete the paper that you had there. If I were to do something like this with the blackish gray background, I would certainly change the lettering up here. The font, I would change it to a white color or whatever. So I'm just going to go over here and say undo. And we're back to where we were. So maybe, I don't know why that background is bothering me. It just is. No, I don't like that one any better. Let's move on. Now, a lot of times I will add borders. I have some really nice borders that I like that you can add to your page, and I want to show you a little trick with that. So let's pick one that we might like. That's not, yeah, maybe it is that one, okay. Okay, let's go down here in our photo bin, go back to our canvas, go down to that new border I just put in, down here, drag it up. Okay, let's stretch it out. That actually doesn't look too bad, does it? Okay, so let's click yes. And I want to show you what you can do with these borders. What if you don't want that much around the edge? Then go over here and grab this side and pull it out. And you can make that border as big or as small as you want. Go down here. Let's pull that down a little bit. Go over here. Pull this out a little bit. And then you're just seeing a little bit of the border, but not the whole thing. And check. See, I don't like this because that obscures. So I'd have to move it down below. So let's move it down below. Let's move it down below. There we go. Okay, now that's better. So now you've got a little bit of embellishments from that border right here and some scrolling work here and some other things. You can see the fun that you can have with this. And I'm going to end this video right now because I think I've been talking for way too long. But I want you to see what's possible. You have so many opportunities to make your pages look beautiful. And then in the end, what you want to do is go up here to File, Save As, and you want to have a place where you save all your work. For me, it's under Scrapbooking. It's under My Projects. And that is where I save things. And when you do save them, I'll just do this right here, beginner page for May Thorpe, and it's saved as a PSD, which is a Photoshop document. And you'd want to go ahead and save it, and that's all there is to it. Now you can go and open that anytime you want. The other thing you can do if you're going to share it online or you're going to create a book, you'd want to go in and save as, and you'd want to save it as a JPEG. So you can go here to your drop down, go to JPEG, save. This little will pop up here. I want to just leave everything alone. Okay. So then if I go to my work, to my projects, and I go in here to beginner page, JPEG, it opens right up as a JPEG. And there you can see more closely what it's going to look like, and that you can read the story I wrote, and you can read the lettering underneath each of the photos, the census in the photo, and that's what your page looks like as a JPEG. So that's kind of it for creating your pages. There's so many more tips and tricks I can share with you, but for right now I just wanted to today kind of wrap it up and say, okay, here's a final page. Now you might change that another 6 times because you don't like what's going on, or you don't think it's an attractive page, or it doesn't look quite right. It's all up to you. But this was trying to give you as many samples as I could of things you can do in a short period of time. I hope it's been helpful, and I'll see you with the next video.